Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sarel van Gr8, aka Mr. VG, and we are nearing the end of this chapter. And today we are going to look specifically at exponents and surds and how integers are asked inside of exponents and surds. So let's first of all just recap quickly the rules that we have. First of all, with multiplication of signs, positive multiplied by positive is a positive. Same goes with the negatives. So whenever the signs are the same, the answer of the product will be a positive. If the answers are different, the product will be a negative. If I look at the exponential definition, now if you haven't done exponents so far this year, it's definitely not the end of the world. We're not going to go into a lot of detail with it. But if I've got something to the power of 3, it means you take that thing, that something, and you multiply by itself 3 times. Okay? So 3, 1, 2, 3. Looking at surds, if I've got the root of b squared, the question is, what number times by itself gives me b squared? And that answer, of course, is b. So let me just use an example. Say, for instance, I've got 9. The question is, what number times by itself gives me 9? And that answer is 3. Or you could say it's a square root of 3 squared, which gives me then 3. Now, whichever one of these you want to use, either go directly to that or go there before going back there. It doesn't matter which one you use. It is up to you. But what we need to do is I want you to answer these, to calculate these 4 sums for me. And then once you are done, hit the play button and then you can carry on with the rest of the video. If I look at the first one, negative 3 squared. What does the square mean? The square means you take the number and multiply it by itself. So in other words, negative 3 multiplied by negative 3. And that answer of a negative times by a negative is a positive, and 3 times 3 is 9. So my answer is positive 9. Now, how would this differ from negative 3 squared? Now, this is a very interesting question. In the exams, we as teachers love to ask you this. The question is, what does that square apply to? To the 3 or to the negative? In this case, it's only to the 3. So that negative stays in the front. And then it becomes, let me just move this 3 a little bit back. Negative 3 times by positive 3. And my answer is negative 9. We love to try and catch you guys out with this, so please don't be caught out. Now let's go to the second question. What does negative 5 to the power of 3 mean? It means negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. So let's start with the first negative times by that negative. And that answer is a positive. If I take that positive and I multiply it by a negative, my answer is then a negative. If I take 5 times 5, 25 times by 5, 125. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, I'm just going to erase this one at the top. You'll find out later why I'm erasing that. Now let's look at the cube root of negative 8. So now I'm asking you which number multiplied by itself 3 times, not erase, sorrow, 3 times gives me negative 8. Well, that answer is negative 2. Because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 8. So my answer for this sum is therefore negative 2. Now I try to catch you out with a fourth one. This is going to open a can of worms for you in grade 11 and 12. That if you are #blessed enough to do further study maths, AP maths, alpha maths, there's so many different names that company uses, add maths, then this root of negative 9 you are going to come across a lot in grade 10, 11, 12, and especially when you get to university. Because we're sitting with a bit of a problem. If I look at the root of negative 9, I cannot say negative 3 times positive 3 gives me negative 9. I can't. It's negative 3 times by positive. You can't say negative times by negative because then that answer is a positive. But if I say positive 3 multiplied by positive 3, the answer is also plus 9. So there's no number that if I multiply it by itself, that gives me negative 9. Now what? Well, let me say this. There is a number, but the number is non-real, meaning it doesn't exist for normal everyday use. Only engineers and physicists and guys at university, they work with this a lot. There's big applications for it, but not for the normal average folk in our normal average day. So let me challenge you a little bit more. What if I give you negative 1 raised to the power of 2015? How on earth are you going to do that? Well, let's kind of investigate this a little bit, okay? I'm asking you to say negative 1 times by negative 1, 2015 times. That's huge. That's a lot. So what are we going to do? Let's investigate. In number 1, when my power was even, my answer ended up to be a positive. Is it a coincidence? Definitely not. In the second one, my power was odd, and therefore, or my exponent was odd. Therefore, it ended up to be a negative. Coincidence? Definitely not. So if I look at this, 2015 is an odd number. So I know that if I had to multiply all the negatives by each other 2015 times, the answer is going to be a negative value. If I multiply 1 by itself, what is 1 times 1? It's 1. Times by 1 is 1. Times by 1 is 1. So no matter how many times I multiply 1 by itself, the answer is going to be Juan, my favorite Mexican. So my answer is negative 1. There you've done such a beautiful, amazing bit of investigation. And this, ladies and gents, you can hold fast and study and take with you for as long as you live. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please tune into our next and last video in this series, where we are going to look at where integers will feature inside of algebra. Now, if you haven't done algebra yet, you might want to hit the pause button after this video and only watch this during your algebra section. But if you've done algebra already, then you can go on to this next video. So this is Mr. VG signing out. Have a beautiful and amazing and wonderful rest of your day. Keep well. Salane Gr8. Bye-bye.